What up, everybody? Season 3 starts off right where Season 2 left off. After Tommy got off the phone with Miguel, he immediately took off to go confront him. But on the way out, he gets a text message from Bones saying that Vic took a phone call and he wants out. But as Tommy's rushing to his car to head to Miguel's spot, Diamond followed him out, asking him where he was going and what was up with Vic. When Tommy let him know that the feds were on the way to the spot and he needs to get there before they do. But Diamond was trying to figure out where Tommy was going and told him that he's moving weird. When Tommy cussed at Diamond, telling him to just do it. Keep it in mind, this is right after they just finished having the disagreement about Vic at the end of Season 2. And now Tommy's giving Diamond orders and keeping him in the dark about why he couldn't go with him. While that was taking place, Mire was confronting Miguel about keeping her at his spot. Miguel feels like Mire betrayed him so Tommy could get close to Che. Keeping in mind, Tommy showed up to Che's daughter's quinceañera, and Miguel now knows how Tommy got that info. But Mireya told Tommy about the quinceañera, only letting him know about her plans for that day, not expecting him to show up, and was pissed off when he did show up. But trying to get leverage with Miguel to get free, she threatened Miguel about telling Che that Miguel killed his son, Armando, to take over as the leader of the Insane Prince gang. And this is definitely something that could come back into play later on in the season, as that's valuable information that Miguel killed the Connect's son. Miguel told Mireya that she wasn't going anywhere after she threatened him about telling Che, but by the time Tommy got there to confront him, Miguel had already let Mireya go. When Tommy called Mireya, she told him that she got Miguel to promise not to come between them again, but she also wanted Tommy to promise not to hurt Miguel. While Tommy was caught up worried about Mireya, Diamond was taking care of Vic Flynn, getting to him right before Stacy Marks and the feds arrived. But Vic's phone was left at the spot, so because of that, Stacy and the feds assumed Vic was dead. But who did get killed this episode was Mirkovic, leader of the Serbs, who was taken off the board by the Marquez cartel after he got arrested with their cartel rep Roberto Ortega and Claudia at the end of Season 2. At this point, we were introduced to a new character, Marquez cartel lawyer Taichin Chan, who had a note from Mirkovic that said goodbye. After leading the task force that arrested the Marquez cartel at the end of Season 2, Stacy Marks got a call from a lady named Donna Jackson from the DNC who wants Stacy to run for mayor because of a corruption scandal with the current mayor. Because of that, Stacy and her task force are going to focus on convictions after she initially wanted to keep going after Tommy. But with Mirkovic gone, they only have 2 of the 3 players left on the board. Concerning Donna Jackson from the DNC, we got to believe that she's likely connected to Stephen Ott from the DNC in some type of way. Stacy mentioned potential opposition from the AG, but Donna Jackson said that her being married to a cop makes her look good. But with that said, Stacy's marriage isn't on the best terms right now, as Bobby also told Stacy that he's quitting the task force this episode. After getting to Vic before Stacy and the feds, Diamond brought Vic back to the barbershop where they met up with Tommy and played it off like they thought Shanti Showstopper was the snitch because the fact she was working with Claudia, acting like they didn't already know, and gave Vic a stack of money and sent him on his way to do collections like everything was normal. Tommy also mentioned Vic having 2 neighborhoods on the south side, Beverly and Mount Greenwood. They did this so Vic could convince Stacy Marks that they hadn't made him. But when Vic was talking to Stacy and telling her this, he also told her that he wanted out. But Stacy now needs Vic to help her convict his sister, and also knows how quick Stacy had the strap drawn on Vic when he got into her vehicle. But because Stacy didn't let Vic into Witsec, he planned on leaving town. But before he left, he went to talk to his Aunt Beth, Polly's widow, and at this point he gave her a package that said U.S. Attorney, a package Beth is supposed to give them if anything were to happen to Vic. So that package is also something that will likely come back into play later on this season. But Vic also gave Beth money, potentially the same money that Tommy just got done giving him. After sending Vic on his way, Tommy went to see Gennard and Shanti, who had waited up all night for the call from Diamond that Miguel killed Tommy after sending Miguel the picture of Mireya and Tommy together at the end of season 2. So when Tommy showed up, they were in the middle of talking about taking over CBI, and Shanti was telling Gennard about killing Diamond at the barber shop and making it look like a robbery. And as she was saying that, Gennard was agreeing with her, but looking at her crazy at the same time. So I wonder if Tommy overheard any of their conversation, because when he walked in, Shanti was talking about her and Gennard sitting at the top of CBI. Tommy told Gennard that they were going to go for all the Serbs' territory, and they were going to start with the Albanians, and he needed Gennard there when they met. On the way out of Shanti's boxing gym, Tommy tried calling JP, but it went straight to voicemail when Tommy told JP to tell Kate that he wants to talk to her. But notice when Tommy and Diamond went to talk to the Albanians, Gennard wasn't even there with them. But the leader of the Albanian crew, Pete, let Tommy and Diamond know that he had already agreed to work with Miguel earlier that afternoon, and he doesn't go back on his word. So while Diamond and Tommy were occupied with distractions, like Tommy worrying about Mireya and dealing with Vic Flynn, Miguel beat them to the punch. But either though they didn't get the Albanians on board, Tommy did lock in the Italians off screen with the plan of playing the long game, and after building up the coalition even more, to go back and undercut Miguel and take his customers. While Miguel's plan for Tommy is to take him out low-key by handing him over to another enemy that Tommy has, so it doesn't start any problems with Che or Mireya. Miguel was telling this plan to his new number 2, named Cruz, after Nasi and Nunez were both taken off the board in season 2. While Tommy had been up all night when Mireya asked him to promise not to hurt Miguel, and at that point, Tommy only told Mireya that he loved her. But later, towards the end of the episode, he did end up telling her that he promises not to kill Miguel. But I also wonder if Tommy low-key has the same plan as Miguel to let an enemy take him out. Stacy's first move to try to get a conviction on her case was to try to flip Claudia by getting her to testify against the Marquez cartel. Claudia was willing to flip on Mirkovic, but not the cartel, knowing that would be a death sentence, and the fact that she didn't like Mirkovic was probably also part of the reason why she would have cooperated against him. And because Claudia refused to cooperate with Stacy, is part of the reason why later when Stacy talked to Vic, she wanted him to help her take down Claudia. But after talking to Stacy, Marquez cartel lawyer Chan also paid Claudia a visit and threatened Claudia about ending up like Mirkovic. But Claudia told Chan that it was Tommy and Shanti who set them up, and also said that she would do whatever the cartel tells her to do. So after checking that information out and seeing it was legit, Chan came back and let Claudia know that she still partners with the cartel for now, while also somewhat guaranteeing her protection while inside, and also told her that both Tommy and Shanti would be dead that night. After Gennard and Shanti found out that Tommy was still alive, while they were planning their next move, Gennard got a text from King Kilo that said they needed to talk immediately. Kilo told Gennard that him and Diamond needed to go ahead and kill D-Mac themselves, because as long as he's still breathing, it makes him look weak, and gave Gennard 1 week to kill D-Mac, or otherwise there was going to be problems. But when Gennard told Shanti, she said make him wait, while making it look like Tommy and Diamond were protecting D-Mac, so Kilo would target them instead, while also bringing in D-Mac close and making things good for him, giving him everything he wants, then giving him to Kilo once Tommy and Diamond were dead. And that sounds very similar to the plan that Jukebox and Kanan had when it came to Tariq and OG Power, and ultimately what Kanan ended up doing with Tariq. So we'll see if it plays out in a similar type of way. But at this point, Jannard also told Shanti that he was still down with killing Diamond. But after this, Jannard then brought Diamond what Kilo said, and when it came down to it, Diamond said, "F it, get rid of the problem, secure the bag," and told Jannard to kill D-Mac, but not to leave his fingerprints on it. Diamond said that Tommy should have took care of D-Mac in the first place like he told him to. Keep it in mind that part of the reason behind Diamond wanting D-Mac dead is because D-Mac killed Seamus, and he doesn't trust him, as Diamond is technically an accomplice. And at this point, Jannard also let Diamond know that Tommy had been smashing Mireya for a minute now and hiding it from him. And after Diamond found out about Tommy and Mireya, he was heated and immediately went to confront Tommy about it. Diamond told Tommy no more lies and no more hiding from him or he'll walk. And if Tommy were to fuck up again, he'd be down a partner. Later on that night, as planned, when Tommy went to talk to Shanti about Claudia still being alive, the Marquez hit squad came for Tommy and Shanti, but they got the drop on them when they heard them coming in, and they took all the hitters out. And after Tommy saw the tattoo on one of their necks and knew it was the Marquez cartel. During this shootout, Tommy saved Shanti's life, so that could potentially change how Shanti hates Tommy and could also come back into play moving forward. After telling Diamond about the problem with King Kilo, and Diamond saying the opposite of what Shanti was telling him to do, Jannard was stuck with a dilemma. And that night he went to pick up D-Mac, who was watching an online dice game where they were wagering $10K on a game. But Jannard got D-Mac to go with him, saying Diamond sent him and they had a job for him to do. So after D-Mac went looking for work from Diamond earlier in the episode, he thinks that they're finally putting him on. And the episode concluded with Tommy and Diamond catching Vic Flynn at the rental garage trying to get out of town when Tommy let Vic know that he owns him now and he's going to be his inside man with the feds. And there you have it. Let me know what you think of episode 1 in the comments, as well as your thoughts, theories, and predictions.